Good evening. 33 people in Television New Zealand in Dunedin lost their jobs today. Another 121 staff in other centres were also made redundant. Mark Price reports.
Dunedin staff this morning listened to Chief Executive Julian Mounter explain the reasons for the job losses. Competition and an economy which has gone very flat had caused a downturn in revenue and a need to restructure. For Dunedin, that means almost 40 lost jobs. What's left in Dunedin is basically a news service producing the South Tonight and items for One Network News and natural history.
There has been a growth in natural history of many hundreds of % over the last year and will continue at the same level. So for viewers, there'll be absolutely no change at all.
One casualty is station manager Lorraine Isaacs, who along with other staff were informed by letter about their future. The cuts are seen as the final curtain for Dunedin as a television station as such. In future there will be what is known as a production house specialising in natural history, which will be staying in Dunedin.
I think you would need a very large bulldozer to drag the people out of Dunedin that are associated with natural history. Natural history, like any television program, is not about equipment, it's about people. And as I have actively chosen to come back a second time and want to stay here, so do the people that work in natural history.
Many of the 40 staff made redundant are associated with studio facilities and included some who helped put television to air in Dunedin for the very first time.
It's also time to say goodbye to one of Dunedin's most lovable tourist attractions. The historic Carriage that's counted visitors around the city was sold today after being seized by the court in payment of a debt. Kathy Graham reports.
Johnny and his owner John Cockburn have become a popular sight around the city. Tourists and retailers love them. But their business has come to an abrupt end.
Have a think about it. 11.5. 11.5 got 11.5. It's going to be sold this time at 11.5.
The bidding attracted several buyers, one interested in saving the Carriage for Dunedin, but he lost out.
There. $12,000. Hold the bid. $12,000. $12,000. Quick. Have my time, sir. Gone. $12,000. Sold. Thank you.
The new owner runs a taxi service in Cromwell.
Going to use it as a tourist attraction.
And whereabouts will be based?
Well, Cromwell, Queenstown, Wanaka, anywhere at all. Wedding dues, all that stuff.
For former owner John Cockburn, it was a bitter blow.
If everything goes in Dunedin, what's there left? Bricks? You know, I can't understand. I can understand the system that it's gone through, but I just feel sorry for Dunedin. Yeah, I feel sorry myself that I've lost the Carriage, but Dunedin's lost it too.
Retailers and individuals rallied to support John today. They're hoping, like him, that he'll be able to get another Carriage somehow and go back into business.
I've still got my horses, I'm still feeding my horses, and I would love to do it again because it is a good thing for Dunedin.
And we hope you do. South Canterbury and North Otago are bidding for their own slice of Waitaki River power. 3 power boards covering an area from Shag Point to the Rangitata River are trying to buy the Waitaki Dam from Electricorp. The dam is 55 years old, but it's had a lot of upgrading, and its output is more than enough to supply the Timaru, South Canterbury and Waitaki boards. The dam cost only $9 million to build, and the combined annual power bill of the 3 boards is now over $30 million. For the first time in more than 20 years, Dunedin's first church is scaffolded right up to the spire. The stonework of the 117-year-old building has been deteriorating, and the spire has been the biggest concern because pieces of stone have been falling off it. Further tests can now be carried out on the spire to see how bad the damage is. The 1990 Roadshow, which has been touring the country, has opened in Dunedin and Portsmouth Drive. It came in 24 specially built containers and now covers more than 2,500 square metres. The displays cover the arrival of the Māori, natural resources, society, technology and the future. And another popular travelling roadshow has also hit town. Dunedin's MacAndrew Intermediate School is hosting the Science and Technology Roadshow for the rest of the week. The show is touring the south for the 3rd year running, and once again, it's booked out. It leans heavily toward entertainment, while making the point that science can be fun.
Now, it's important that you don't touch any of this stuff, because as I said,
The show's open to the public on Wednesday night. That will also be visiting Gore, Winton and Invercargill. Latest figures show Southland is the cheapest province in the country for housing. The price of houses has increased throughout the country by an average of 11% over the past year. The Real Estate Institute says the median price for a New Zealand house now stands at $107,000, up from $96,000 this time last year. In Auckland, the average price is $143,000. In good old Southland, it's $65,000. Exporters are forever trying to make dough out of the Japanese, but an Invercargill firm has turned the tables by selling the dough to them. And as Michael Lynch reports, it's doing very nicely. Baker Millar Lange is the world's largest exporter of butter pastry to Japan and has just been awarded an export commendation.
It's a normal busy day at this Invercargill bakery. The bread's rolling in and it's rolling out. But out the back, in a temperature-controlled room, there's something special going on, with some very interested spectators. In 9 years, pastry exports to Japan have been hoisted from 8 to 1,200 tons. It's butter-made pastry, just like grandmother might have made, but it's tricky to manufacture and expensive. New Zealanders are just content with the usual margarine variety. The Japanese are happy to pay double the price for the clean green image and the flavour.
It's just, you know...
Just right.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Very good butter flavour.
In Japan, a lot of this pastry goes into presentation packs. A tin like this would cost $20.
The Japanese market is much more discerning, which means that they are prepared to pay a good amount of money for a quality product.
The company's getting a Trade Development Export Commendation Award for its efforts.
Artist Julia Morrison, who was the 1988 Francis Hodgkins Fellow at Otago University, has received another art fellowship, this time from the Moe and Chandon Foundation. Julia receives a grant and facilities to enable her to work in Paris for 9 months. Some of her work features in the touring exhibition In the Forest of Dream, which has opened at the Dunedin Public Art Gallery. And that's it from us on a very sad day for Dunedin television, but we will be back tomorrow. Good night.